It was October 14, 1942. 5:20 hours. In the Soviet Army assembly area on the west bank of the river Volga, Ivan Petrov, a young 19-year-old factory worker, was told he was going into battle without a rifle. He was staring into the ruins of Stalingrad when the order was issued. The man in front of him was handed a weapon. The man behind him was handed nothing. When it was Ivan's turn, an officer poured 5 loose bullets into his palm and said, "Follow the rifle. You will get yours later." Across the river, Stalingrad was burning. That was how Ivan Petrov, 19 years old, became a Red Army private at Stalingrad. The Volga churned under artillery fire, black water erupting into white columns as shells struck home. Barges creaked forward, overloaded with men who stared straight ahead or whispered prayers into trembling hands. Ivan sat low, fingers clenched tight around the bullets in his coat pocket, afraid they might slip through the torn fabric and vanish. 3 months earlier, he had worked in a factory not far from here. Now he was crossing a river that had become a grave. When the barge scraped the far bank, men leapt into waist-deep water and ran. Some were cut down before their boots touched land. Ivan ran because everyone ran, lungs burning as smoke swallowed the shoreline and the sky flashed white with explosions. There were no speeches waiting for them. Only shouting, "Forward! Don't stop!" Ivan followed the man with the rifle. By the time they reached the ruins, half the platoon was gone. The city was no longer a city, just shattered brick and twisted steel. Walls leaned at impossible angles. The air tasted of dust and cordite. Machine gun fire echoed constantly, bouncing through streets that no longer had names. An officer pointed down a collapsed avenue. "German position in that building. Advance." Ivan crouched behind rubble, heart hammering so hard it hurt. His fingers trembled as he pressed the bullets deeper into his coat. He had trained to march, to obey, to shout slogans. He had not trained to charge gunfire with empty hands. Behind them, Ivan noticed figures in long coats that watched from the shadows. Everyone knew who they were. NKVD. Blocking detachments. Ivan understood the choice instantly. If he went forward, he might die. If he turned back, he would die for certain. The man with the rifle hesitated. Just for a second. A single shot cracked behind them. The man stumbled forward and collapsed into the dust. He was shot as a warning. No one turned around. Ivan ran. He vaulted broken masonry, slipped in ash and blood, and dove into a shell crater as bullets snapped overhead. His chest burned. His ears rang. Somewhere nearby, a man screamed and did not stop. The man with the rifle lay only a few meters away, face pressed into the dirt. Ivan crawled to him. The rifle was still warm. He took it with shaking hands, the weight sudden and terrifying. He chambered around the way he had been shown weeks earlier, breath coming in short, ragged bursts. German voices echoed nearby. Boots crunched over rubble. A helmet appeared at the edge of the crater. Ivan fired. The recoil jolted him backward. The helmet vanished. A body fell. Ivan stared at the spot, stunned, until shouting erupted and bullets tore into the dirt around him. He scrambled from the crater and ran again. The fighting fractured into moments, rooms taken and lost, stairwells choked with smoke, silence shattered without warning. Time stopped meaning anything. Ivan found himself inside a factory hall, machines twisted and frozen as if abandoned mid-shift. Men fired from behind conveyor belts and smashed equipment. German soldiers pressed closer with every minute. A grenade skittered across the floor. Someone screamed. Ivan lunged forward, grabbed it, and hurled it back just as it detonated. The blast shook the ceiling and filled the hall with dust and ringing silence. For the first time since crossing the river, something changed. Ivan was no longer waiting to die. He was fighting to live. By nightfall, the factory was quiet. Ivan sat against a wall, rifle resting across his knees. Around him lay men he had marched beside that morning. Some groaned softly. Most did not move at all. A sergeant passed through the survivors, counting heads, issuing orders in a tired voice. Ivan stared at his hands. They would not stop shaking. He thought of home. Of the factory floor. Of the officer dropping bullets into his palm at dawn. Now he had a rifle. Now he understood the cost. Near morning, snow drifted through the broken roof, settling on rubble and bodies alike. The city grew quiet, not peaceful, but waiting. When the order came to move again, Ivan stood. He did not feel brave. He did not feel heroic. He felt older. As he stepped back into the ruins of Stalingrad, rifle held tight, Ivan Petrov knew one simple truth: the rifle had come later. But survival had come first. And for today, that was enough.